So we've got breaking news. Apparently there's an arrest, and it looks like it's connected to the Epstein files. I didn't think there was going to be any movement, but evidently there is. Look at the headlines here. Andrew arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office as king, says law must take its course. Okay. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has been arrested and is in custody of suspicion of misconduct in public office. Officers now are carrying out searches at the addresses of Berkshire and Norfolk, as the Royal Lodge in Windsor Great Park, where Andrew lived until recently. And you got photos of the vehicle. King Charles says he learned with deepest concern of Andrew's arrest. The law must take its course. It comes after Thames Valley Police said they were assessing a complaint over the alleged sharing of confidential material by the former prince with late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, so this is what it said right here. It said there was a complaint over alleged sharing of confidential material. Who knows what that could be? It could be anything. Andrew, who turned 66 today, I mean, age doesn't matter. You can still convict these people. Has previously denied wrongdoing in relation to Epstein. He has not responded to BBC's request for comment on specific allegations in relation to release of millions of Epstein files. This is literally just breaking, like you just saw right there. It's like, just popped up on the screen. King and palace not told about Epstein or about Andrew arrest in advance. BBC understands. So this was a surprise, evidently. Neither King Charles nor Buckingham Palace were informed in advance that Andrew Mountbatten Windsor were arrested today. BBC understands. The king released a statement reacting to his brother's arrest a short while ago. You can read it here. Well, we got to read that statement. Totally. All right, here's a statement from the king. The law must take its course. Okay. We have just received, I learned with the deepest concern the news about Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and suspicion of misconduct in public office. What now follows is the full, fair, and proper process by which this issue is investigated in the appropriate manner, and the appropriate authorities. In this, as I've said before, they have our full and full-hearted support and cooperation. Let me state clearly, the law must take its course. As this matter continues, it would not be right for me to comment further on this matter. Meanwhile, my family and I will continue in our duty and service to y'all. Charles R. Wow, literally that was just like happening now. And then that's actually pretty big, though, that they didn't inform them, because normally, for these kind of people, you're talking about like royalty here, you would do it properly. I don't think there's going to be any shootouts or anything like that. And they weren't informed. That's really interesting. Or unless they thought that someone was going to run. I kind of don't think they're going to run in this situation. They'd be kind of like, if you're going to go arrest Trump for Epstein stuff, would he be the kind of guy who just like runs away? In this day and age, who knows? This says here, investigation could be more than the Epstein files. Okay, so what could it also be? It's worth noting that Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has not been arrested for anything surrounding the Virginia Giuffre. Okay. What's led him to being arrested is information in the Epstein files around activities while he was a trade envoy. So what were you doing? What do you know? These kind of things. Although we don't know the specifics, there has been an assumption that part of this is going to be sharing of documents within the Epstein files between Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein. That's when Thames Valley Police got involved. Okay. But once you're investigating somebody for alleged misconduct in public office, it doesn't have to focus only on those emails, which we've seen publicly in the Epstein files. First, there's 3 million documents in the files, so there may be some media, some media missed. 3 million is quite a lot. But secondly, Buckingham Palace said they would support Thames Valley Police in the inquiries that we're just looking at, and potentially that means the police have gone to the palace or could go to the palace, asking to see evidence of communication between Andrew and others. Wow. This is pretty crazy. So then that becomes important. Why that you just saw it breaking news live, why they didn't inform them, because are you now searching the palace for stuff? That would just be crazy. There is nothing to say that is focus of the couple of emails that people have seen within Epstein files, right? My initial, what does the Queen say? The Queen goes ahead with the public engagement hours after Andrew's arrest. Okay. Queen Camilla has arrived for an engagement in the Westminster Central, London, despite her brothers-in-law arrest being announced this morning. She's attending a lunchtime orchestra concert and is greeted by representatives as she got there. We had been waiting to see whether the senior royals may choose to stay out of the public gaze in light of today's news, but that appears not to be the case. Wow. This is happening in the UK, and I mean, obviously this is going to have ripple effects around the world, as this Epstein thing involves a lot of very powerful people, as you all know. This is an arrest. It doesn't necessarily mean any sort of convictions or charges yet. But from what I've been reading about what's going on with the UK and stuff like that, it seems like the UK laws are way, way stricter than USA. It looks like the media laws are different. So, you know, and you guys in UK, please comment this stuff. But when the BBC's like releasing names and you know, these kind of things are coming out, like, I mean, it seems to be really, really happening and stuff's going down. And, you know, when you see like all of this names of people in the stuff that Elon Musk has been kind of freaking out about the Epstein stuff, he tweets about nonstop. Elon Musk's brothers in that, Trump's in that, of course. Then Letnick was testifying before, and his testimony looked pretty weak to me. Now, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. There's going to be some people who probably witnessed all kinds of stuff, right? And they could be protecting other people. And there's going to be various degrees of how you handle this. And I think like my other action was, if you proceed with this kind of investigation, you will probably get a lot of people, you know, having to testify in front of everyone publicly. And that's my general opinion on this stuff. When Bill Clinton, because he's involved in this stuff also, he was basically tweeting out and saying, okay, if you want to talk to me, I'll tell you what I know, but we're going to do it publicly. And I agree with that kind of thing, especially for this kind of high profile a case. Lay it all out there for the public to decide and let them see it for yourself. Because the concern with any of these kind of things, which I'll just mention Clinton because he had brought up some good concerns, is if the Republicans, you know, go in and try to question that, they'll, you know, bring in their own people and then they'll misrepresent what things were said. That's why literally you would do it all in public. Same thing with this kind of stuff. I understand that some things are going to be very sensitive, of course, because you're dealing again with a lot of powerful people. But if this indeed the case that you're going to be investigating the palace and otherwise emails and such, you would think that, you know, stuff would be destroyed and such, but, you know, because we're talking about so long ago, but there's still going to be issues of like, you know, what do people know? And then when you bring them in front of like a Congress or Parliament or whatever, you know, you go under oath, and then everything changes entirely, right? Because I'm pretty sure, you know, every country in the world has these kind of like strict laws of how you know, behave under oath, and then you get people on that kind of stuff. And that was what they did before with the Trump people, like all those people are in contempt or whatever. My other reaction though is just in surprise. I just posted a video this morning and I was like, hey Chris, what's going on with that arrest? And I'm just seeing it for myself, like what the heck? And we're going to see more. And I'm sure Trump will tweet out something crazy about this stuff or whatever. And I'm sure Elon will as well. And if I see anything updates from that, I'll let you know. So that's my thoughts on this stuff. I want to hear yours, and catch you in the next video.